What's up, comic book fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, the co-host of the Emerald Echo podcast, here with a look at the Mattel Green Lantern Movie Masters figure of Hal Jordan. So I have a collection of Green Lantern Movie Masters figures, both loose and mint on card. However, with this one, as you can see, the packaging is not in great shape. So I thought I would go ahead and bust this one out for a review. But before I do, let's go ahead and look at the package details. Here is the bottom front of the packaging. It says Movie Masters Hal Jordan. Build Parallax. Includes Collect and Connect piece. Actually, Parallax was the one figure in this collection with which I was underwhelmed, so I didn't bother to complete the Collect and Connect figure. However, I do have at least one, if not two, of every other figure from the Green Lantern collection of the Movie Master figures. The packaging here is a bubble and card design. Here on the bottom, we get product information. Through the side of the bubble, we see the Build-A-Figure piece on this side. On the opposite side, we see Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern logo in the back, as well as him holding the personal power battery. And here on the top, we can see the top of the figure through this part of the bubble. On the back bottom, we get a product shot of Rot Lop Fan, as well as a diagram of how the Collect and Connect pieces in this package help complete the overall Collect and Connect Parallax figure. Moving up the back of the packaging here, we see a product shot of Tomar Ray as well as Hal Jordan. And here is a brief description of the Movie Masters line. As you can see, the card on this is in extremely poor shape, so I felt like it was time to go ahead and bust this figure out and discard the packaging. Here is the figure as seen through the front of the bubble. It specifies Adult Collector. I really like the use of green in this packaging. I like the unique shape of the bubble. Like that a lot. I really appreciate the fact that the Collect and Connect piece is off to the side and it doesn't detract from the figure and the most important accessory being featured. And of course, I like the fact that we can see the Green Lantern symbol behind Hal Jordan. But now I think it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. Here is the figure free of the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. Let's have a look at accessories here. And first up, we have this translucent green peg base. And I do like these quite a bit. There's the peg there. I would have preferred a Green Lantern Corps symbol in the middle here, but that is a minor criticism. I'm just glad we got a base for this figure. Here is the personal power battery, and I know this was a source of contention for Green Lantern fans at the time because this is such a departure aesthetically from what we usually see in the comics, but I didn't mind at all the fact that the personal power batteries had their own cinematic look. Now, as far as this accessory, I would have preferred a brighter green, denoting energy within the battery, but in and of itself, I really don't think it looks bad. I actually like this quite a bit. Here is the Parallax Collect and Connect piece. If you look at the completed Collect and Connect figure and then compare it to Parallax in the movie, it's not even that accurate. My guess is Mattel was working off of some early concept art. And so even though there's kind of an overall vague resemblance, it definitely doesn't look exactly like Parallax in the movie. So this was a rare Green Lantern collectible that I didn't feel compelled at all to try to pick it up. And here we see Hal Jordan out of the package and ready to rumble. Now, your feelings on this figure will likely be influenced by whether or not you liked the movie. I actually did like the movie, and I didn't mind the costume redesign. I think it was a little bit too expensive, but that's a video for a different day. I actually like the look of Green Lantern in the movie, and I like the way that this figure reflects that. In particular, this metallic green paint that you see on most of the figure. There are some articulation limitations with this figure, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at the loose details now. Let's look at the lower body now, and I really do like this metallic green paint choice. I just really think that brings the costume to life. Good sculpting back here on the calf muscles. The feet are accurate, including these little toes, which that certainly wasn't my favorite part of the costume, but this is accurate to the movie. You can get the ankles to articulate like this if you're getting him into a flying pose, so I do appreciate that. Single jointed knees. They could have done a little bit better with the articulation here. I really feel like it could come up higher. I really do like this texturing here. Good musculature on the quadriceps. And this kind of denotes, the energy ebbing and flowing over Hal Jordan's body, which is what we saw in the movie. And that goes all the way around. Again, good detail. In terms of the hips, now, the overall articulation is pretty good. You can get him to kick out this far. Of course, it's a wide joint, so you can get him to kick outward like this, but I feel like that could go up a little bit further. What I really like is the fact that you can rotate his legs back like this. And I really like that you can get him into that kind of pose, like he's lifting off. I appreciate that quite a bit. Now, the torso doesn't quite match that, and I'll get to that in just a second. And as you can see, the packaging has warped this one just a little bit. So I may go in and fix that at some point. But overall, I really can't complain too much about the lower body, especially given the time period. I really think this looks pretty good. Yeah, so other than some, minor articulation issues, I really think that Mattel did a good job with the lower body. So here's a look at the torso, and I think there's a lot to like here. There are a couple of obvious areas where there was room for improvement, but I do like this texturing that goes all the way through. Like you can see it flowing toward the lantern symbol here, which by the way is done exquisitely. You can see that it's raised. Like this looks like something that's on top of the chest. It's not just a perfunctory effort. You can see the light dancing off of this metallic green paint. I like that so much. There is articulation here at the lower abdominals, but nothing in the upper torso here. I would have appreciated that. Here's a look at the back. I mean, there's still definition here in the latissimus dorsi and the trapezius up here, even in the lower lumbar, despite all this texturing. So that still looks really good. Here is a close-up of the symbol, and as you can see, there's just some magnificent sculpting here. Paint application's nice and tight. That had to be difficult with such a small area. But Mattel really did an outstanding job with bringing this symbol to life. Let's have a look at the arms now. And there's a lot of things to like about the arms, and then there are some areas that are pretty poorly done, I must say. Let's talk about the positives first. You get articulation here in the wrist. Overall, the fist looks good, and I will get you a close-up of the ring in a minute. Single jointed elbows, and I really feel like those could go up further. But there is some swiveling here, so I do appreciate that. Likewise in the biceps, so I appreciate that. But here's an area that I really think could have been done much better. You can only get his arm to go up this far when you're trying to articulate it outward. The deltoid pushes back against the torso, and you just can't get it to go up. Now, you can angle it out like this. So that's so-so. That actually looks pretty good. Again, I'm a stickler for lanterns being able to wield their rings. So you can get the shoulder joint to go around 360 degrees. I just really wish that this would have been better. So here's a look at the other hand. Of course, this is the hand that holds the lantern. I wish there would have been more articulation here so we could like angle this upward to make sure that the personal power battery is a little bit more steady in his hand. Again, single jointed elbow. That doesn't really go as far as it should. Overall, good texturing. Good sculpting for the musculature. But again, you can only get the arms to go up this far. And I mean, you really can't push them. If you tried to push these too much, I really feel like you would break them. So the arms are certainly a mixed bag. So here is the close-up of the ring. And as you can see, I think they tried to get the shape of the lantern here, but it just didn't come out all that well. You know, it does look like it's something that's been slid over the finger, so I'll give them credit there. But this is also an area where I think that the movie redesign fell a little short. The green on green was a problem for the ring standing out. It didn't stand out the way that it should, which is especially important for a character like Green Lantern, where so much of the mythos is based on the ring. I would have preferred either white gloves or black gloves or no gloves at all. Just something where there's a different color around the ring so it could be highlighted better. So again, this is something that as a collector, you just kind of got to make your peace with. I think Mattel did the best that they could, but it's certainly not a great looking ring. Let's have a look at the head sculpt now. And I think this is a pretty good effort here. It certainly looks like Ryan Reynolds, so I appreciate that. I like the way the mask is done. Nice tight paint applications there. You can see the white eyes, so I appreciate that. Skin tone's pretty good. The mouth is sculpted very well. Likewise, the ears done very well. I think that on this side, the paint is a little wonky on mine. Yeah, you can kind of see where, at least on this one, they missed the edge of where the hair should be. So kind of goes back further behind the ear than it should. But overall, the hair's not bad either. I mean, that really doesn't look plastic. Like, you can see the strands. So I think that's actually done pretty well. The forehead looks a little plastic to me. Now, I think they could have used a little bit more detail up there. In terms of articulation, you can get him to look side to side. He does look down. You can get him to look up slightly, and there is a minute amount of head pivoting here, so I certainly appreciate that. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to do the same. Stay tuned at the end of the video for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back to the internet with more Green Lantern related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.